Back on the hot, muggy street of New York. Let's get out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the live stream webinar. Last time we saw each other was 2 weeks ago, and the next time we'll see each other is in another 2 weeks. We want to remind you that we do these live webinars bi-weekly. Now, the topic of today's webinar is taking your video to the next level with multi-camera switching. Another topic that we sent out on our social media was a deep dive into multi-camera video. Now, that's the topic for the webinar. You'll notice that every webinar we have is going to have a topic. There's going to be something that we prepare for you so that we bring you something of value, of substance to the show. But that doesn't mean that that's the only reason why we're here. The live webinars are a chance for people to join on and ask questions about any of our Stream products. So if you're using Stream Studio, if you're using Live to Social, and you have a question, first of all, you can always email us at our support line, which is studio@stream.com. So you can always send us an email there, and we'll try to answer your question as best as we can over email. And if that doesn't work, we'll set up a private video call where you can share your screen and we can share our screen with you. Remember that we're always here to help. But if all of that sounds like too much trouble and really all you have is a quick question, hey, how do I do this or that? Well, these live webinars are a great opportunity for you guys to have one-on-one time with me where I can answer those questions. So I am going to be diving into today's topic, right? That's what I'm going to spend my time doing today, is taking a deep dive into multi-camera video. That's why I'm here today, but that doesn't mean that at any point you guys can't drop in while we're live and throw a question in our YouTube Live where I can answer it for you right here on the spot. Now, right in front of me today is going to be a live to social live webinar. So I have live to social in front of me. So it'd be best if you have a question about live to social to ask on a live to social day. And if you have a question about studio, to ask about it on a studio day, because I'll have the tech in front of me where I can sort of show you as I go. Now, right now, the screen you're seeing is what the live to social screen shows. So it'd be a little bit easier if you had one of those questions. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. I just wanted to remind everybody that these webinars, they're not only a time for me to talk about our topic. The topic is mainly an excuse for us to get together and for me to, tell you about the latest updates that are coming out on these platforms, and to share some news with you, new features, news, whatever it is, and to dive into a topic, and then for you guys to be able to ask questions, whether it's about today's topic or whether it's about something else. I'm here to help. That's literally my job. I'm here to help you guys. I'm here to make the user experience better. I'm here for you guys to feel comfortable using our products. I want you guys to use them to their fullest extent. We have a lot of cool features on Live to Social. We have a lot of cool features on Stream Studio. We have even more cool features coming. We're going to be letting you guys know that through email, through our social media, through these live webinars. But at any time, at any point, if you have a question, just throw it in the comments and I will answer it for you, and it will take as long as it takes. That's why I'm here, okay? So don't be a stranger. Don't be embarrassed. So here we go. So today, the topic of the day is going to be a deep dive into multi-camera video. So if your response to that is, well, I have a podcast and it's just me, so why would I need multi-camera video? If that is your response, I would say that you're looking at things the wrong way. Whenever it comes to new technology in this industry, if you're going to make it, whenever something new comes out and a new feature, the way you should be thinking in your head is not, oh, I'm not doing that kind of show. That's not what I do. The way that you respond should be, oh, how can I incorporate that into my show? Oh, that's a really cool technology. I can't exactly think right now how I could do that, but I should try to think of a way to incorporate that into my show. Right? That should be the way that you should be thinking. It is going to be much more conducive to a cool show. Look at this. I went and took my phone. I'm on my tablet right now, but I went and I took my phone and I stuck it on the windowsill. And that is just going to give me an outside look. And look, you got a car pulling in right now. So just that is making this production a little bit more interesting. And you know what? I might ask Mark over here to pull out his phone at some point, and maybe we'll get a third camera. But the point is that you're never going to have too many cameras. Especially with Live to Social, you can select which one is going to be up in the monitor, which one is going to be in the program monitor. Right now, I have both cameras on. But if an outside shot was completely irrelevant, if I was talking about some breaking news or something that really had nothing to do with outside, I could just hit that. Right? And I still have the option there. I still have the multi-camera cameras at my screen, at my fingertips. Doesn't mean that I need to use them all the time. But in this case, let's say I'm talking about the weekend. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. It was a beautiful weekend in Miami. We had some great weather. It was over 90 degrees, and this is a look outside. You can see a little bit of clouds in the sky today, which is nice because we had a clear blue sky over the weekend, and I got a big sunburn. And see, right, automatically right there, I'm just making this up, but it's a lot more interesting with that extra camera. It's just making things a lot prettier, and you have something to look at, right? You have these leaves ruffling, the trees shuffling, the knees cuffling, right? It's just a lot more interesting to look at. It's a lot more engaging for the viewer. And you're going to say, Liam, I don't have any viewers. I have a podcast. Well, we'd have another problem there. We've explained the importance of having a video element to our podcast. It's the only way that you can grow. The content success formula is create a podcast, cut it up into clips, and put it on social media. That's the success formula. If you're not doing that, you will not grow. So I want to dive deeper into the features of Live to Social. I want to show you guys everything that the application can do. But first, I really want to get to the topic of today, which is a deep dive into multi-camera video and explain the importance of multi-camera video. So now that you guys have been looking at the trees and enjoying the view, let's go back to just this. Now, this is what it would be if we were using, let's say, a Zoom or a Google Meet or an old obsolete Rock. This is what it would look like. But when you use Live to Social, you have the ability to connect multiple cameras. Now, you're going to say to me, Liam, I don't have multiple cameras. I don't even have one camera. And I'm going to say to that, well, do you have a phone? Do you have a phone? Because if you have a phone, that's all you need. Right? The cool thing about Live to Social is that it is an application. It's an app. So you can download it on your tablet, on your phone. And these things, bada bing, bada boom, they become cameras in your production. So I would go around my house. I would go find the old iPad, dust it off. Maybe you have a tablet lying around. Maybe you have a phone. Maybe you have an old phone in a drawer that you can turn on, connect to Wi-Fi, and guess what? No, don't tell me it's another camera. Yeah, baby, it's another camera. Now you're dealing with a 3-camera setup. Now you're dealing with something that the professionals would use. Think about your average news station, your local news station. They're going to have at least 3 cameras. And right now I have 3 cameras. And look at this. We can pivot to this one. This is sort of a studio cam. So I had Mark over there, our producer. He went and got his phone out, and he put it on a tripod, and now we have a studio cam. Now, this is something that I could switch to as I was going into a commercial break, let's say. Right? I could do this. And ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after a few messages. Now, after the break, I want to talk about the football game over the weekend. Did everybody see what happened? It was crazy. Let's go back to it after the break. And then we can fade out to this outside shot. We can cue the music, right? And we're back with Liam. Let's throw in that lower third. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Now, I said I was going to talk about the football game, but I didn't say whether I was going to talk about soccer or American football. And we're going to find that out after the second break. We'll be right back with some more Liam Show. And then I go back to another commercial break. You don't even care that I'm doing all these commercial breaks because it's so interesting. Look, I do the fun studio camera. I do the outside shot. I play a little music. Everybody's happy. It doesn't even matter what I'm saying. It could be a show full of commercials and you would watch it because of how engaging it is when you have multiple cameras. Are you guys sort of starting to get my point? And I'm going to go into the features of Live to Social in just a second, but I do want to stress the importance of a multi-camera setup. Now look at this. I got all 3 of them on screen now. That's something you can do with Live to Social. As opposed to the other switcher apps, all they're going to let you do is sort of switch from camera to camera. Live to Social, you can do something called combinations, and you can have multiple cameras on screen at the same time. Well, Liam, how do I make a combination? Well, that's very easy. You just click on that plus sign there. We're going to hit on combination, and look at all the options of combinations that you have. Well, Liam, that combination says A, B, C, D, E, F. That's 6 cameras. Are you telling me that I can have 6 cameras at the touch of my fingers using Live to Social? Yeah, you could actually. Is that your question? Yeah, the answer is yes. You could have 6 cameras at once. How cool is that? How cool is that? What are you going to do when you show your friends your podcast and they look and it's a 6-camera setup? What are you going to do then? Well, Liam, I don't have 6 cameras. Really? Well, why don't you invite a guest onto your show? I already have 3. Then my guest is going to come with his phone. Maybe he brings his tablet. Now we're at 5. And maybe I can find an old phone. We're at 6. Maybe he has an old phone. We're at 7. Right? The beauty of having a product that's an application is that everything becomes a camera. And we're going to keep doing updates to this product, but pretty soon I wouldn't be surprised if you could use an Apple as a camera. Right? Not the Apple product, but the actual fruit. Let's throw in some fun stuff here. Look what we got here. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, everyone. Can you throw in fun gifts like this in other applications? I don't know. You know when you're texting someone and the conversation is kind of dull and you don't really know what to do? So what do? You throw in a GIF. Well, let's say you're doing a podcast that's kind of dull and you want to spice it up. Look, you can throw in a GIF. You can do that with Live to Social. It's one of the many cool features. So the all of these things that I'm saying here, and we're having fun together, and that's the point of why we're here today. And Mark is going to keep an eye on those YouTube comments if you guys have any questions as we go. But the point of why we're here today is just to make our podcast more engaging. Because the problem is you start a podcast, you have an idea. You say, okay, I'm going to talk about old shipwrecks. I'm going to talk about old shipwrecks. And episode 1 is going to be the Edmund Fitzgerald. And I'm going to tell the story of the ship and how she went down and how many souls on board perished, and the story of how the captain went down with the ship, and you got this great idea, and then you make your episode, and it's great. Show it to your friends, they love it. Then you have episode 2. Episode 2, you're gonna do the what's another shipwreck, Mark?
The Titanic.
The Titanic, the famous Titanic. That's gonna be episode number 2, the Titanic. How it went down. You're gonna tell the story of Rose. How she took. She posed for the picture. You're going to tell the whole story of how it went down, how they put, they had enough common misconception, side note here, about the lifeboats. They say they didn't have enough lifeboats on the Titanic. That's false. The problem is they were putting about 5 people from first class in each lifeboat, and soon there was no more lifeboats left. And they still had, hundreds of people on board. So if they had actually filled each one of them to capacity, they would have been fine. But instead, they didn't want the first-class people to be uncomfortable, so they just filled them up with a couple people. That was the mistake. And then when the boats were sort of drifting off and the Titanic sank and people were swimming, trying to stay afloat, they were trying to get into the lifeboats, and they would hit the people over the head with their paddles so they wouldn't get in the boat. So kind of just shows you how things were back then. It was pretty rough. But see, this is my podcast. It's very interesting. But it's interesting because I have these interesting stories about these shipwrecks. But I'm going to reach a plateau at some point. At some point, my shipwreck show, maybe, I'm not going to run out of shipwrecks. There have been a lot, but it's just going to be, it is what it is. So how am I going to grow? At that point, how am I going to innovate? Right? When you're Tesla, you've already made the electric car, your range is already this. Like, what are you going to do next? What's next? You have to keep innovating because Ford and General Motors, they're right behind you, and they too are going to make an electric car. And guess what? They have a lot of money, maybe a lot more than you do. So how are you going to innovate? Well, what you can do at that point is you can go and get the latest and greatest technologies in the game, Stream Studio and Live to Social. Today we're doing Live to Social, and you can use those technologies to make it more interesting. So let's say I took one of my phones and I brought it to the ocean. We're in Miami here, and I pointed it there, and I filmed the ships coming in for my shipwreck show. Hey, now we got something. Now, while I'm talking, you can watch the ships come in. And in this case, watch the cars come in to the Palmetto parking lot at the Palmetto Office Park here in Doral, Florida. Not quite as exciting as the ships coming in, but nevertheless, we'll deal with what we got here. So just having that is going to make things a little bit more interesting. And if you don't believe me, you'll notice on TikTok, when people want you to listen to their clips, they'll play a video at the bottom. So you're listening to them speak, and they keep your brain, your little TikTok brain, entertained by playing some kind of car video or GTA or video game at the bottom. And this is the same type of idea, right? If I hit myself with a 2-shot here, bing, boom. Let's take out this GIF. This is back from when we did the SoFlo DevCon. It's a major event here down in South Florida. Watching those cars come in, it's just going to keep you a little bit more entertained. And you're going to say, well, Liam, not just the cars, that background, that looks pretty interesting. How'd you do that? Well, Live Social allows you to have custom backgrounds. So you can make these in Canva. Does anybody know Canva? You can make them in Canva. Very easy to make. It's free. Or if you're a little bit better, if you're saying, Canva? Yeah. Try Photoshop. Well, you can make them in Photoshop too, sir. You don't need to get upset. You can make them in Photoshop and you can import them. And then you can just change them as you go. Look at that. Background. Boom. Background. Boom. Or if I want to show a big screen here. And this is going to be the SoFlo DevCon. We're going to have professional developments. These are the topics for today. See, I go full screen. This is all while I'm live streaming to multiple social media platforms at the same time by hitting this destination tab and adding destinations. I can go to my Facebook, my LinkedIn, my Twitch. Look how many things are on this thing. I mean, it's unbelievable. And we want to thank our sponsors, Schauffenfield, Streen Media, Algorand, NSU Florida. See, this product, the cost of entry, is an iPhone, which everybody has, or an Android, which everybody has. And it makes you look like the pros, man. Oh, we got some movement. Let's switch over to here. We got a car pulling through. What is that, a Suburban 2016, 2015? You see? It's fun. We're having fun. You can't do this with Google Meet. You can't do this with Zoom. Zoom doesn't let you film Suburbans driving in the parking lot. It doesn't let you film a ship sinking live. This is going to make your production more interesting. This is going to make people tune in for longer. It's one thing to get people to click on your podcast. It's one thing, which is hard enough, by the way, but it's one thing to send your link to somebody, be like, hey, man, I just started a podcast. Would mean the world to me if you listen to it. It's one thing for them to give you the chance. It's another to keep them hooked. And I'm telling you right now, if you're using Live to Social and one of the cameras is on you showing your great studio, and the other camera, let's do a combination, is on a ship that is sinking, they will keep watching. That is a fact. Or even a car, backing in or parking or something. Whenever you're sitting in a parking lot, you see someone pulling in, you always watch them. You want to see how good of a parking job are they going to do? Did they hit that car? Hey, I think I saw them hit that car. Should I say something? Nah. I'm just going to go into my store and mind my own business. But nevertheless, it's interesting. Mark, can you read off? I saw one of the questions come in. Can you read off one of the questions from our YouTube Live there?
Yeah, so people are asking, is Live Social compatible with YouTube?
That's a great question, Mark. That's a really good question. It's one of my favorite questions, and we get this one all the time. So if you guys are wanting to live stream directly, because what you can do, let me take a step back before I answer this question. So we can do two things. We can do a local recording, which means we're just going to save the file locally onto the whichever tablet or phone is the director, right? We can save that, and then we can post it later on. So you definitely do YouTube with that. Post it to YouTube as a VOD. Maybe you want to do some more editing to it. I don't know what kind of editing you would want to do because you can pretty much do everything all within the Live to Social app. And that's what's nice about having all of this at your fingertips, having this control panel here, is that while I'm doing my show, you can think of the webinar as sort of a podcast. While I'm doing my podcast, I can sort of just tap. I can just change my combinations. Whoop, up, throw everything on screen there. Hit the good morning, welcome to the show, everybody. Throw in my lower third there. This is all stuff I can do while I'm on the fly. So this really eliminates the need for pre-production, post-production. But nevertheless, you could bring this into some editing software and then post it. But you could definitely post that VOD to YouTube. The answer to that is 100% yes. Maybe you want to go live, though. Maybe you'd like to have a live show. I really love live stuff because it gives that element of, anything can happen when you're live. And when you're watching something and you know that it's going on as you speak, it makes it a lot more exciting. Like if we switch to this parking lot full screen here, if some guy is like breaking into a car, like that's happening right now as we speak, it really makes that more interesting. You know what I'm saying, Mark? It's kind of like, do you ever watch like sporting events that are like recorded that happened like a week ago?
That was boring.
Yeah, it's like you don't care. It takes all the fun out of it.
It's got to be live.
It has to be live because when it's live, oh, we got a car. Oh, it's parking. Let's watch this parking job.
That was all right.
That was pretty good. It's pretty good. Looks like he's closer to the driver's side than the passenger. But he went in, he pulled in one shot. So, brownie points for that. He's not even going to straighten out. I think that's a Mercedes, I believe. Looks like a Mercedes. So see that car pulling in. We're watching him park. It's live. Look at that plane in the background. It's landing live. All of this is going on live as we speak. This is the kind of stuff that makes things a little bit more interesting. Now we're wondering, is this guy going to get out of his car? What's he doing? Maybe he's on a phone call. Had this happened a week ago, you'd be like, yeah, car pulling in, who cares? But live gives it that, feeling of excitement. So where can we go live? Let's look at our destination tab. Well, we can go to Facebook, our own Facebook profile. We can go to a Facebook page, right? If you have a page of some kind for your company or for whatever you're doing, a LinkedIn profile or a LinkedIn page. LinkedIn is huge with businesses. Twitch is huge for live streaming. RTMP if you want to send it directly to a website.
Also, RTMP you can send it to others or services as well. So YouTube, you can send the YouTube through RTMP. You can send it to something like Mixcloud or any other streaming service.
So you can basically go live anywhere. Is that right, Mark?
That's correct.
Well, that's pretty incredible. Isn't that incredible?
It's a game changer.
It definitely is changing the game. When you look at technology like this and you think about, what people used to have to do to go to broadcast, it's unbelievable. All right, the guy's getting out of his car here. Actually, I think that's a woman. Seems to have long hair. Walking around the car. Don't know why she didn't go through the front. Oh, I guess she's pulled in too close to the bush. She had to go around the back. And she seems to be on her phone. Probably was on her phone in the car that whole time. That's something annoying when somebody is walking to their car and leaving and you want their spot and you kind of stop to let them back out. People don't just get in their car and back out. They get in their car and then they look at their phone.
For like 10 minutes, too.
Yeah, so that's kind of annoying. Now, if we wanted to have a lot of fun with this, what we could do is we could look up her license plate.
Whoa, guy, come on.
We could find out if she has business in this building. And if she doesn't, we could call the tow truck.
Oh. That'd be some captivating live footage of a tow truck coming through.
Well, we could find out if she actually has any business in this building, and if she doesn't, we could tow her car. That's what I should do. We're almost out of time, though. We only have about 6 minutes left. But if I wanted to do a live show and I wanted to captivate people's attention, that is what I would do. So I guess the moral of the story here, folks, is that it doesn't really take much. And I hope you guys, you guys are probably begging that I call the tow truck on it right now. Mark, can we get a phone number for a tow truck company?
I actually know one by memory. They tow me all the time.
Oh, yeah? Who's that?
It's 1-800-UP-YOURS.
Is that what it's called?
No.
It's a pretty good name for a tow truck company. But see, this is the kind of live action stuff that you need to do. And folks, live streaming is the future. I mean, if you look at things like TikTok, Instagram, they're all pushing live streaming. Twitch got acquired by Amazon for how much, Mark?
It was a lot of, I think at least $1 billion.
Yeah, at least $1 billion. Because again, everybody agrees that live streaming is so much more exciting, is so much more fun. So if you're doing a podcast, if you're doing a show, I recommend that you go live. It's going to make it a lot more interesting. It's going to keep your viewers on their seats. I recommend that you have a video element so that you can clip it, so that you can post it to social media, so that you can grow your channel. I recommend that you use something that is the latest and greatest tech in the game, something that allows you to use multiple cameras at the same time, something that doesn't force you to go buy an expensive Sony camera or 2 or 3 of them, and then an expensive switcher and XLR cables and, things and wires and plugs, and the list goes on. And next thing you know, you spent 10 grand. You haven't even recorded an episode yet. I'm not saying you can't get there at some point, and maybe you will, and I hope that you do. But hey, get started today, because all you need is a tablet and a phone, or just a phone, or just a tablet. And you can go live with Live to Social, and you can start using that multi-camera setup that's going to make you look cooler, that's going to make you better than the competition. The competition, which is using their old desktop computer with a big old blowing fan that has one camera on their face that looks really boring. You guys have been listening to me for about 30 minutes now. Would you have been here if it was me in my kitchen with my little webcam? I don't think so. What kept you hooked? Multi-camera
switching.
Thank you, Mark. And we're doing it live, too. We're live on YouTube right now. Mark, let's do a final sweep of the comments, see if we have any questions before we head out.
We have a couple just some praise. So this is one of the best apps in the mobile game for this kind of content.
Yeah, it is. It is one of the best apps in the game for this kind of content. I mean, I don't know who else is doing this.
Well, I mean, we won't name our competition, but we're better.
I think I've tried them. I think it works and stuff, but the layout doesn't look as nice. I'm very OCD. I really like aesthetics, and I find that the Live Social is just aesthetically it looks a lot better.
their app kind of makes you have to have a external monitor for it to work properly, which I think is a no-no.
Yeah,
It's
I
supposed
mean,
to be ease of use.
yeah, they say it's easy to use. It's pretty complicated. And again, I don't want to badmouth them. You know, they're super nice folks down over there, and they're working really hard on their product, trying to improve it. And we wish them well. We wish them well. But yeah, we'll just leave it at that. But Live to Social speaks for itself. It speaks for itself. And it's going to make you look better than everybody else. And it's going to make you look like you have a big budget. And it's going to make you look like you know what you're talking about. And it's going to make you look like you have a sky cam. You know, people are going to look at this right now. They're going to be like, oh, do you have like one of those sky cams on your building? And I'm going to be like, no, man, that's my iPhone in the windowsill. And I'm just going to blow their mind. And they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I thought you did this and I thought you were that. And you're going to say, yeah, listen, I don't have time to talk to you. I'm very important. And they're going to say, really? And you're going to be like, no, I'm not that important. I just use Live to Social. But you're going to fool them.
Now, speaking of iPhones, we should talk about the new update.
Yeah, let's finish with the new update. Ladies and gentlemen, Live to Social is now available for iOS director mode, meaning you do not need a tablet to direct anymore. You can use your iPhone. How cool is that? So I'm an iOS guy. Mark is an Android guy. And Mark's been teasing me. Every day he comes in and he goes, ha, 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 ha. I can direct on Live to Social. And guess what? Now I can tease him because now I can direct on Live to Social on iOS on my iPhone. So we wanted to make sure that this product is bulletproof. If there's one thing you'll know about Stream, we don't really release things before they're ready. We want them to be ironclad bulletproof before we release them. So the iOS has actually been available for a while. I've been using the test flight just because I'm in the office and I get to use this kind of stuff, one of the perks of working here. But now that we've ran all the tests, we had a team, checking all the bugs. Everything looks good. We've ironed out, we've crossed the T's, we've dotted the I's, and now it is available to the public to direct with iOS. So there's no more excuses why you can't use Live to Social. Don't come at me and say, oh, I don't have a tablet, I don't have an Android, no more excuses. You have exactly what it takes. I also have some numbers here with me. Let me just pull these up here. We have the numbers of how many people have downloaded Live to Social. And these are hot off the press from this morning. So here we go. Over 40, what do you think I'm going to say? 40 people? Over 40,000 people have already downloaded Live to Social and are already speaking wonders about the product. So we have a community that's growing. People love it. You're going to love it. They're faking it till they make it. They're pretending they have lots and lots of cameras. Meanwhile, it's their phone, their mom's phone, and their brother's phone. And they're killing it out there. Their show is amazing. They're making shows. They're having multiple cameras. They're killing it. And it's all thanks to Live to Social. Is it thanks to them? Not really. Their show is so-so, but you can't even tell because you can't take your eyes off the screen when it's Live to Social. That's the problem. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to the live webinar. Mark, are we all set with our YouTube comments?
Yeah, we're all good.
All right, so thank you for coming to our live webinar. Again, we will be back in 2 weeks, not next Thursday, but the Thursday after. Bring your questions. In 2 weeks, it'll be a Stream Studio production. So bring your questions about Stream Studio. We're happy to answer them live. We have Liam, the content guru, if you have a content question, and Mark, our technical producer. He can answer any technical questions. But until then, download Live to Social. Join the movement of 40,000 people who have done it. You won't regret it. You're going to love the product just like we do here. And we can't wait to see the amazing content that you make. Don't forget, you're only one video away from changing your life. Thank you, everybody.